Hi, everybody. So tonight I'm going to talk about intellectual property. And since we're at a TED event, I thought let's talk about TED first. Where's my presentation? Wait. Oops. I think there's an issue here. There's a slide missing. Anyway, so TED is a non-profit organization that works to promote their mission of ideas worth spreading. So on the About section of their description, they were talking about how they're an organization that really wants to spread ideas and make sure that people get those ideas out there. But the thing is, so there are so many amazing speakers who come to TED. There's from Bill Gates to Stephen Hawking to all the amazing speakers who are here today. They have given very inspiring speeches. And I'm sure they've inspired the next generation of budding creators or innovators. But the thing is, so you come up with an idea, and you make that idea into something tangible. You come up with a book, or a sensor for an airbag thing. Sorry, not very technical. So what do you do with it after that? You have two options. So the first option is that you can let anybody use it. You can make it free for all, and you can let anybody use it, or make it, or sell it, just as they please. So that's the first option. The second option would be that you protect your idea and what you created with your hard work. And that's where intellectual property comes in. So what is intellectual property? It's the value that's given to a tangible expression of an intangible idea created by the human mind. So let's say that one day you are staring into space, daydreaming, and you come up with this outrageous idea. You think about a toy that is in the shape of a pig, which has a helicopter rudder-like thing on top, and you want to control it with a remote control. So this sounds a bit crazy, doesn't it? So you have this idea, you believe in it, you really think it's really great, and so you do something about it. You make a drawing, you put some design into it, you make a clay model, you make a prototype, and then in the end you actually get something which has form, which you can touch, you can see, which has direction. So what happens after that? What do you do with this? Now that is where intellectual property steps in. You can decide to name this thing toy, piggy, flying thingy. So that could be your trademark, your logo. Or you could copyright the design. Or if you've done something new and distinguishable with the mechanism to control the rudder, you could probably patent it. So the thing is, with intellectual property, it helps you promote innovation by providing incentive for innovators. So I'll give a few examples of what kinds of intellectual property are out there. So I'll give 4 examples. The first is copyright. And I'm going to be using Coca-Cola as an example to show you what are these different kinds of intellectual property. So copyright. So you see the Coke bottle here, the design of the bottle, and okay, slides missing again. Copyright. So the design of the bottle and maybe some adverts. I had some really cool adverts of Santa that this guy drew in 1930s. So those adverts, the design, this can have copyright. Basically, what copyright is, in the legal sense of the word, is basically the author or the creator of a literary or dramatic artistic or musical work, has the right to protect it and prevent other people from copying it or selling it or using it for a certain amount of time. So he has an automatic and international right to what he has created. The next kind of intellectual property is called trademark. So now this trademark, the Coca-Cola trademark, is registered almost all over the world, and it's world-renowned. And I really hope the next slide is there. Clearly not. So the next slide was this amazing picture of the whole world, and there were just a few countries that Coca-Cola was not sold in. There was Sudan, Iran, Cuba, and North Korea, and Burma was also there, but since recently the changes in Burma, Coca-Cola was actually one of the first companies to enter the Burmese market. So Coca-Cola is seen by almost 94 and known by almost 94% of the world's population because of this trademark. That's the value of what a trademark is. It really helps one company and its products and service to be distinguished by the product and service of another company. So the next kind of intellectual property is called a patent. A patent is where an inventor comes up with a new and inventive solution for a currently existing technical problem. So once he comes up with this, there are certain legal criteria. And if you fulfill this legal criteria, your government will provide you with a patent. And the next kind of intellectual property is called a trade secret. A trade secret is where you have information. It could be any kind of information, but it has to be of value. It has to be something that you've kept secret so nobody in the public knows about it. And it has to be something that you've taken reasonable effort to keep secret. So the Coca-Cola recipe is the world's most famous trade secret. In 1886, a pharmacist in Atlanta called Dr. John Pemberton came up with the Coca-Cola recipe. And imagine if in 1886 he thought, okay, I'll get a patent for it. He would have had only 20 years of protection. So 1886, 1906. But since he decided to keep it as a trade secret, it's been more than 100 years, and Coca-Cola is still benefiting from that creation of Dr. Pemberton. So I can go on forever about intellectual property. I love it. I can give you the intricate details of all the different kinds of intellectual property. There are others that I haven't really mentioned to you. But what I'd really like you to do is to just take your mobile phones out, go on Google, type, what is intellectual property? And just see what it is. Find out what it is, because it is really important to you. And I'll give you 2 reasons why you should take out your phone and check on Google. First is that your ideas are valuable. And the second, so are the ideas of others. So let's talk about your ideas. We've seen today that there are so many amazing ideas that people in Sri Lanka have come out with. It could be books, films, coconut plucking machines, nanotechnology innovations, new portals, new sensors, all sorts of different things. So once you come up with this idea and you make something out of it, you want to profit from it. You really want to make sure that nobody else uses it. And how do you do that? Intellectual property is what will help you do that. So say, for example, there's a blogger. I'm sure quite a few people blog here, I don't know. So there's a blogger. He is basically writing about the trials and tribulations of being a teen in Colombo. And he's been running this blog for a couple of years. One day, he goes to a bookshop. Well, I hope people still go to bookshops. So he goes to a bookshop, and he is rifling through one book that he's seen about the youth of Colombo. And he sees that the words seem extremely familiar. And then he's like, oh my God, this is my blog posts. Somebody has taken all his blog posts and compiled it into a book and is selling it as their own. This would be a direct infringement of that blogger's copyright. Because the thing is, with copyright, the moment that he hit publish on the blog, he got automatic copyright. And if he didn't know about this, how is he going to protect himself? So that would be one of the ways that you can really help yourself to protect yourself by using intellectual property. So the next point that I'd like to bring about is that you should value the ideas of others. So how many of you here have bought a pirated DVD? Or downloaded a song online? Or watched your favorite TV series on a streaming website? I know I've done all three of them. And I mean, when you do that, all you think is that, oh, look, I'm getting a DVD for a fraction of the cost that the original would cost. Or that I'm getting a free song. But what you don't realize is that you're infringing on somebody else's intellectual property rights. And they take pride in what they do. These songwriters, these filmmakers, these authors, musicians, they take pride in their work. And you're disrespecting their work by infringing on their intellectual property rights. And what I said earlier, you have intellectual property rights too. And you value yours. So why would you disrespect theirs? Actually, I had a really great picture of this photograph that I took in Hikkaduwa of Star Beans Coffee. Has anybody been to Star Beans Coffee in Hikkaduwa? There you go. See, this logo looks exactly like the Starbucks coffee logo. It just says Star Beans. So basically what they're doing is that they're taking the branding and marketing that Starbucks put hundreds of millions of dollars into, and they're using it to promote their tiny little coffee shop in Hikkaduwa. Why don't they just call it Hikka Coffee or something like that? Wouldn't that be more novel and less infringing? And but the thing is, it's not just about pirated DVDs or trademarks of coffee shops. It's about things that are much more important. One of the most important things is counterfeit drugs and counterfeit consumer products. Drugs is a really big issue because there are so many companies that manufacture low-quality drugs, and they just put the same trademark as a highly established brand of drugs, and they would sell it freely in the market. And that could result in horrible consequences and even death. So the thing is, with intellectual property, there's a balance that you need to make. There's protecting people's rights on one hand, and on the other hand, it's promoting creativity and innovation. So these big multinational companies, the pharmaceutical companies, why would they spend billions of dollars into research if they didn't have that 20 years of patent right that's given through intellectual property? We might not even get a cure for cancer or HIV if they didn't put all those billions of dollars into research. So it's just a really delicate balance that's created through the intellectual property system. It just provides incentive for innovators, it promotes innovation, but at the same time, it gives you right to protect yourself and profit from the fruits of your mental labor. So finally, what I'd like to say is that there are so many amazing people out there with wonderful ideas that could lead to wonderful creations and innovations. Maybe the next Bill Gates or Stephen Hawking is in this room. But you see, Bill Gates and Stephen Hawking have intellectual property rights, and they've ensured that they've protected them. Have you? Thank you.